Oh no! I just dumped my frickin' sleeve into my coffee. Dang it. I just washed this. Oh. Oh, so much coffee. I really like this thing. I really like this thing. It's an Eddie Bauer. I got it from my mom. I hate it when people put these little pop-top radiator caps on. I don't know if they're actually bad. They're just not original, and so that makes me hate them. 162. It's an SE. It is an Accord SE. It was like 2 model years only, right? 1991 and 1993? For the CB7? There's even more in them. Because the SE was not only like a rare trim level, but it was like an only certain years thing that they did. It was kind of like McRib. The good deals are always on the red pickup trucks. Nobody really wants an old red pickup truck. You know? It's like I always say, they just wind up looking like retarded fire trucks. Look at the AstroTurf in the bed of this. Does that come with? I've been looking to do something on my porch. Why did you Georgia Bulldogs this thing? Toyota does not care about the Georgia Bulldogs. If Toyota liked anything in Georgia, it would be Georgia Tech. Why did you put a red stripe on this? And put a red stripe on your wheels? Just, yeah, no, not a fan. Yeah, the interior is kind of rough, actually. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think to fully appreciate the beauty of this unit, you really would have to, reupholster the interior. And also those exhaust tips, please tell me they would not have done that tacky bullshit from the factory. I'm assuming that's aftermarket. Also, you got your fancy wheels, but they don't have center caps, which like very much declassifies it. And then the rear bumper is like very aged. So I'm thinking this guy sat out a lot. This thing looks like it sat out for a long time. Like as soon as this thing got a few years out of warranty and it was not new anymore, somebody stopped giving a shit. 97 Dodge Cummins 12 valve 5-speed 349. It's under 10 grand. It's under, I wouldn't want to dually one of these if I wanted one. You know, like the O.J. Simpson book, like if I did it, like, because I'm not saying I do want one. But I know a tiny bit about these, and it's really clean. And I have to say, I do know that the Cummins diesel with the 5-speed is kind of a coveted option. Headliner coming down. Was this the 1998 Accord Oldsmobile edition? Interesting. Posted 18 hours ago? Because this is very cheap for a Bronco. Only issue I can find is the water pump is clogged, question mark. That really opens up a whole can of worms. Because you say it runs and drives, but are you now implying that it overheats? You're saying it runs and drives, but are you now implying that it cannot be run and driven very far? How do you know that the water pump is clogged? Because if you disassembled things enough to get to the point where you could state that, then you would have disassembled things to the point where the water pump would be removed, and it would not have even made sense for you not to replace it, and then it wouldn't be clogged because it would be new. And water pumps themselves don't really clog, it's the passages around the water pumps. You're saying you took the water pump off and the passages were clogged, or are you saying that some other thing is guiding you to that conclusion? Did you take the cap off the radiator and watch it heat up and not see anything happen? Because that could be the thermostat. And why do you think that that is not the thing that it is? You know? Granted, if you said it was a thermostat, I'd probably be even more suspicious. Really? So it's got less than 100,000 miles, and it's only $14.99. Legendary 3.1. Man, the 3.1 is not that legendary. I should know. I've owned too many of them. 22-inch offset Savani wheels. Yes, because the reason you buy an LS460 is so that you can feel every single tar snake. Infiniti QX4. 145 on it. That's a clean unit. That's a really clean unit. That's low miles. And hey, I've never been accused of being the world's biggest QX4 fan, but I mean, you gotta give credit where it's due. XK8, Honda Civic, $3,500. Read details. Why? No, there's no amount of details that can make this $3,800. It can be turboed if you so desire. Yeah, you could say that about literally every single car on Craigslist. I could go through every single one of these ads and tack on. Oh, and by the way, if you strapped a turbocharger to it, then it would be turbo. Like, that's not really a selling point. Plenty of life can be enjoyed. Replace the distributor, time belt, crankshaft position sensor, valve cover gasket, 2 new rear tires. Looking for $3,500 ideally. So, and it's got over 200 on it, and it's rough, and it's ugly, and the mirror's broken. Did you say that in the thing? No, you didn't. The mirror's broken, the fenders are dented, the paint's gone, the trim is missing, the antenna's broken off. The inside is hoarded. Actually, and I take that back about the antenna. It's a power antenna. I'll give him his credit back for the antenna. The seats have tears in them. The seats are stained. Everything's gross. The plastic's gross. The plastic needs to be reconditioned. Crank windows. I think Honda people maybe actually kind of like that because it makes it lighter. It is a manual, which I guess is good. Yeah, the plastic in this thing, the plastic is really chalked out. And the plastic, this thing has been sitting outside a while. The plastic in here is chalked out. You got high mileage. No tachometer. No tachometer. Is this a DX? It is a DX. I've read straight over that. This thing's a shitbox though. Look at that, all the dents in the hood. Where's he located? Snellville? Canton. 1979 Malibu wagon. I kind of feel like this has been floating and surfacing for quite... Yeah, it has been. 350 with headers, does it run? I mean, it runs. It runs. What really more could an American want than... I mean, who cares if it's perfect or not? Does it need paint? I mean, needs a relative term. Look at that engine. That looks like a whole 350. You've got a vehicle, a station wagon, with a whole 350 in it that runs. You've got at least 2 matching tires, which is really not even needed. It's just a bonus. And then it's a complete car. It has all the windows, and it's a station wagon, meaning you can basically do anything with it. You know? You could basically do anything with a station wagon. You can put anything in a station wagon. You know? I mean, there's absolutely no limits with this vehicle. It's got auxiliary gauges. I'm a little bit scared about that dashboard. When I start to see dashboard wires, that's really when you start to kind of cross a line a little bit. But I mean, it's like, let's be honest. This thing crossed that line a long time ago. And I mean, back to the point, it's got a 350 in it. It's got eBay wheels, eBay tires, something. I mean, the engine honestly looks pretty decent. I mean, he's got a 350 with headers. You know? And it looks just, I mean, new radiator, good wheels and tires. I mean, this guy's been trying to sell the same. Title's missing. I don't know about that. That doesn't help. Langford Parkway. You know, and all the time I've spent in Atlanta in my life, I don't know if I've ever used Langford Parkway for any purpose. I don't know. I couldn't tell you if I've ever been on Langford Parkway. I've certainly heard about it a lot on the radio, but couldn't tell you if I've ever been down that road. Rare 1995 Chevy Suburban, so OBS Suburbans are rare now. 130. It's got low mileage. Look at that GM white paint. GM white paint of the 90s is some of the most notorious paint. I'm sure this was like the first few years after they had to switch off of like asbestos cancer-based paint to like something slightly less toxic. And they were like, oh, we don't have a process for this. We can't get the paint to stick. 07 LS 460, 8 grand. It's red with a black interior. Does this have all this stuff on it? 97 Prelude, 2,500 bucks. Really love this car, but sadly it's time to let her go. Recently got in an accident, can't drive it. You recently got in an accident or the car did? So you being in an accident is the reason why this can't be driven. Is that what I am to understand? Because based on a visual inspection, probably needs front end alignment because it pulls the left. And a check engine light is on. Bad fuel tank pressure sensor or gas cap. Replace both, but it's still triggering the service engine light. Yeah, so it's one of your hoses or something, or somebody shot a hole in the side of your gas tank. Where are you located? Yeah, so somebody shot a hole in the side of your gas tank. For sale as is, replace the alternator and the back brakes. Now, is that a command? Or is that like a statement? Like, are you missing a D? Like, replace or replaced? You know what I mean? Like, fucking English. Just needs a little bit of TLC for someone with the money to fix it. Yeah! Talk about saying the quiet part out loud. I mean, hey, anybody out there who can live with that silly color? If you take a look at this color and you're like, hey, that's the car for me, you could score the deal of a lifetime in Buford today. And I ain't kidding you. Craigslist Gold is really just me exploiting mental illness, isn't it? 86. 300ZX Turbo, Lake of Coney. Does run and drives, trans shifts a bit hard, needs a tune-up in belts. Needs a tune-up in belts. Needs a tune-up in belts and the trans shifts hard. What is up with your gauges now? What is up with your gauges? There's so many green lights, I'm like basically pulling my wallet out as we speak. But now, you know what's making me put my wallet back is I'm seeing hand tools on the rear spoiler. I'm seeing like a whole plethora of hand tools accumulated on the rear spoiler of this car. And you know what? I've been there so many times in my life. And I have so many memories just flooding back into my brain cells. Oh, and you got a little dealer auction rectangle of hatred. And you got some microfibers like, yeah, and you got some little air freshener pieces. This has all the markings of a ship box with like 120 tiny random problems that somebody is trying to kind of like, I'm gonna wallpaper over it. Oh, and it was just on the damn jack stands, or the damn, what are those called, ramps. And then you've got a broken belt on the ground, but you're telling me now I have to replace the belt. It's like, homie, you had, like, look at your floor jack back here and your fucking extensions are out. Like, dude, you've had opportunity. Yeah! Look, this guy's got those two other ZXs. I thought I recognized this driveway. This guy, like, I called this guy out for being delusional when he was selling another one of these 300 ZXs. Yeah. It's a shame because I guess these cars are fine. I don't know. I like the way they look. I don't know. It's an automatic. That dries it down a little bit. Trans shift's a bit hard, so it probably needs a transmission. Okay. Needs a tune-up. Okay, so it also runs bad, and it probably always will until you find the one person left in the Eastern Hemisphere or Western Hemisphere, whatever hemisphere we're in. But like, it's gonna run bad until like it's gonna always run bad now. It's just reached that point in its life of a fucking 80s early emissions vacuum operated crazy mobile. And it is an auto, it would be a great restoration or quick, easy project. Yeah, it's so quick and easy that if all you had was just a floor jack and a set of ramps and a couple of sockets and a driveway and a couple of boomer friends and a screwdriver and a couple combo wrenches and another screwdriver and a garage full of automotive items and a spare transmission lying on the floor of your driveway. If you had and an oil pan and more belts and an air compressor and some other tools and a bucket. If you had all those things, you could probably bang this thing out in the afternoon and some microfiber cloths to detail at the very end. Yeah, if you just had those basic supplies in an afternoon, you could probably have this thing like showroom. Yeah, he would do it himself, but he would rather let somebody have a fun project. I respect that so much. I love that guy. He's so nice. Transmission has no issues at all. Four-wheel drive was disconnected to help with gas. No. 2001 Honda Accord, $1,200 in Conyers. Will need a little transmission. There's no such thing as a little transmission work. The Cadillac Lyric, I didn't even know these were for sale yet. I think I've seen them in like car magazines. Do you want an ultra rare new Cadillac Lyric now instead of 2025? Have one that can be yours. Came in after 2.5 years, so he waited 2.5 years on it. And he got it and he put 22 miles on it. Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement. Spammers, stay off my phone. I know my phone, alert me. So his iPhone, like the rest of us, is now marking calls potential spam. And he believes this shields him from all incoming spams. AB827, just wait till I call him. Please reply as iPhones nationwide probably already have my number marked probably spam. Like, isn't that the guy who fucking harasses people and records them on Craigslist and then puts it on YouTube for entertainment? Like, I'm probably on some kind of a nationwide phone call ban. That's what gets me, is when people who pollute the environment, like, think that it makes them better people. Like, no, I do it, I acknowledge it as bad, but I'm still gonna do it. You know, that feels like it makes more sense to me. That's a good thing for people to do, right? Acknowledge it as bad and keep doing it. Doesn't GM like have some like insanely good V8s now that they could have put in this? That of course they'll sell 3 of and then fucking discontinue. They'll throw the blueprints into the Mariana Trench. Along with all remaining engine block castings. 2005 Buick Terraza conversion van. Is it a wheelchair conversion of some kind? What do you mean it's a conversion van? I don't think that is a conversion van, dude. Because it has a pinstripe on it? Is that the conversion? West Midtown. Runs well but needs a lot of work. Needs rear brakes and power steering immediately. No, nobody needs rear brakes and power steering immediately. MC Caballero. Why would they name it that? You're just like asking for like old white rednecks to butcher that word. I remember going to a Mexican restaurant with a work boomer one time. And he's from Augusta. And like he wanted to order like a Modelo Negro. And he like awkwardly orders a Modelo Negro, and then afterwards he's like, I feel so weird saying that. It's like, dude, you don't just say Negro. It's Modelo Negro. Like, it's not, you don't have to throw a hard E in there, Bill. Minor exterior blemishes. I mean, people are like that, you know? Like, I was just on the Atlanta airport, you know, little train in the Atlanta airport. I was riding the Atlanta airport train 2 days ago, and, you know, of course, these boomers are all talking on the train. And, you know, the one guy's like, oh, I used to live on the south side of Lake Lanier, but then I had to move to the north side because of all the sprawl. It's like, dude, you are the problem now. That's the thing about Atlanta is people are constantly, like, trying to, like, outrun the sprawl. And it's like, you are the sprawl. That is you. Like, it's like a dog barking at itself in the mirror.